right, guys, here we are to talk about Episode 1, Season 8 of The Walking Dead. Now, going into this episode...
I watched this twice, and I already forget everything. I have to read my notes.
Did you really watch it twice?
I watched it twice. Because I was like, okay, you need to give this a chance. This can't be your opinion. You have to watch this again.
All right.
And appreciate the craft. You have to really make sure that, like, it is what it is.
I walked into this episode with a little bit of information. My girlfriend went, "That episode sucked," and I was like, "Spoilers! Don't tell me about the episode. I haven't watched the episode yet." She's like, "I didn't tell you anything." I'm like, "You just told me it was a bad episode." Now I'm walking into it thinking bad episode.
So now we have two things to talk about. One is like going into this, our like preconceptions, and also like spoilers. Because people, this is gonna be an hour-long video. Spoilers. People are like, "I didn't spoil it," and it's like, "No, you said that ending though." And that's not a spoiler. You didn't tell me.
It is a spoiler.
Well, it's not like you told me what the ending was. But now the whole fucking time I'm watching, I go, wait, is that the thing? Wait, is that the thing?
No, I don't want to know shit.
There's 4 minutes left. It must have been that thing. I don't know if that was the thing, and it fucks with me. All right, so don't tell me anything. Fucking don't talk to me.
No, I don't want to know anything. And so
fucking. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was a fucking Reddit headline that said, like, who's the actor that plays Jaime, has, like, a weird name, Jaime Lannister. It was like, that guy, we should give that guy a big, in all caps, hand for last night's performance in, like, the episode or whatever. And I was like, huh, that's a weird, I'm not going to click on it, though. And then as the episode's unfolding and that scene's coming together, I go, ah! And it fucked with, it was like, I hate the internet. So I just unplugged the cable, and now we just do this for ourselves. I hope you find these videos someday.
So I went into this thinking it was bad, and then I watched it, and I didn't think it was that bad.
Okay.
I thought as far as episode, and I was able to have the conversation after the fact, like, you know, like, well, why did you think it was bad?
Oh, no.
And,
are you going to defend it, and I'm going to hate it?
Well, hang
That's
on,
going to be such good...
No. For the first time, I got a good response. Usually my girlfriend will be like, I hated it, or, you know, doesn't give me really good details.
Because it was bad.
And so I go, well, why did you hate it? She goes, well, think about last season's premiere. She's like, Glenn fucking died. And I'm like, he did fucking die. She goes, so by comparison, this episode sucks.
Do we not care about Abraham? What the fuck?
Well,
is she Team Glenn?
She's Team Glenn. But the B-side here, I'm like, but we have episodes where they just farm all day. I'm like, we actually did something here. She's like, and nothing happened. I'm like, they took over the compound. Like, that's a thing. In the weirdest, convoluted way possible, they took over the compound.
I'm not going to pretend that nothing happened. But, like, I'm not just counting the things that happened and then scoring that. It's like, what happens?
Now, the things I will score is the technique. And the technique was god-awful. So, like, think about how many things could have gone wrong along the way of this plan. Yeah. So, step one of the plan, which presumably is the easiest part, is wrangle all the zombies in the world over the course of miles and miles to go exactly where you want them to go on a certain time schedule. So already, I'm like, that plan seems kind of dumb. But what's much dumber, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't.
Let's do this slowly and methodically and really suss out every point. Yes.
So they have a series of cars that are like lined with flimsy aluminum.
Corrugated aluminum.
You can see it like wiggling in the wind.
Hey, man.
Most likely because it's actually plastic and not metal. But I'm going to say, all right, let's ignore that. Let's say, okay, they do have these bulletproof materials surrounding a majority of their bodies in a circle, while they stand outside a like 4-floor compound of their enemies.
Yep.
If you just think of the idea of one person on the top could shoot completely down and over their little 6-foot wall, 6-foot wall is probably even giving it an overestimation. It's probably more like 4 feet, it's just slightly over a car's height. Or one grenade or a Molotov cocktail, you're trapped in this thing.
It's like a heated cage at that point. No, I was just going to say, and we've established, and just in case you forgot, we've established throughout this episode that explosives exist in this world, and that both sides have them, and we'll use them. No, I know. And after...
Where was Negan's whole army during that? I thought at one point he motioned and like people were going to start just filing out, but then it was the governor.
When then Gregory came out?
Not the governor. What does he call? Does he call himself the governor?
He's the mayor?
The mayor.
Gregory?
He's the worst.
Gregory? I actually like that character, but no, like, that's a horrible...
I out loud was like, you sniveling coward.
But that's why I like it, because he has this interesting, horrible way of Margaret, like, doing things or whatever.
They should have shot him.
Yeah.
Because right when they're like, huh, they don't even follow this guy. I would have been like, you're kneecapped, and I would have just shot him.
No, I would have been like, yeah, well, this is useless. You lied to me and you embarrassed us and you fucked up our plan. I don't even know where to start.
What did he just fall 3 feet? Like, he pushed him, and you think, like, oh, he's going to go to, like, the zombies that are chained up,
yes.
or, like, a death pit that they probably have. But, like, they don't show it, and later he's just like, oh, my wrist.
So they don't show it. You can presume from, like, the earlier wide shots that there were, like, stairs there, but they don't show it.
Which is odd.
It's me. Okay, the reason why I think that the show is over and sucks is because of what they don't show in this episode.
No,
like,
it's much worse what they do show. How about the 30
okay.
seconds they hang on the car you know is going to explode, and then finally it explodes?
Oh, that was fine.
That was brutal. I was like, are you just trying to pad the bill? Do you have a certain amount of minutes you need to get, like, ad revenue? Like, what is this?
Again, I watched
And then they fade to black for an equal 30 seconds at one point. I'm like, what's happening?
Again, I watched it twice, and I think that shot of hanging on the car and watching the zombies, that, like, triggered memories for me of the show doing that. Sometimes they just hang on a shot of like, no zombies, and then a zombie shows up, and then, like, 2 more zombies show up, and then it cuts, right?
This felt
It's like a
horrible.
weird establishing shot. So I think that they were trying to do that here, but be like, "Pa-pow! We got something for you."
This should have been instantly. It should have been like, cut to it and bang.
Sure.
And, like, it might have played. But when you have a shot drag that long and then don't show me other things, I'm like, see that part you wasted right there? That could have been me seeing something over here.
No, because they were either... So this was not a long episode, and they didn't show things. I think it was money. It has to just be money, right? All these things are money. Okay? I don't know. We're jumping around so much.
That's the name of the game.
This is destroying my structure and, like, my notes. No, like the entire fight with Negan's, like, men. You don't see any of Negan's men. You see, like, the 5 people that talk, and then they just shoot windows for, like, an hour.
Well, I know. What was the point of any of that? I was like, oh, they're going to start throwing, like, grenades through it. They didn't want any glass to stop it. Or, oh, there's some sort of a plan.
But there's no fight. There's no... They barely imply that there's, like, return fire. Like,
was there return fire?
There's, like... I don't know if
at the end when Gabriel's trying to get away, there's return fire. But at that point, I'm like, what is even happening? And where are the zombies?
Like, for this fucking for this show, right, which has done all these amazing, like, things and done all these cool things or whatever the fuck, for this fight to feel like you were looking at it through, like, a keyhole and you could barely see what was going on. Like, they would cut from one thing to something else, and I'm like, what even is that? Was she shooting there? You cut from someone shooting to, like, a window that had broken glass, and I'm like, I don't know even what's supposed to be happening here.
My only thought
There's no
was,
one
I'm like,
shooting
winter
back.
will come eventually, and it will be hard to keep this place warm. Ha 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 ha! Die hard, bitch! Oh, they have shoes? Fuck!
But there were no, like, bodies. There were no, like...
Of course not.
There were no grunts. There was no, like, whatever. There was no, like, progression. Everything was just, like, taking...
Where was the tiger?
So
they brought the tiger.
They didn't bring the tiger to the...
But, like, they showed him in
that...
And, like, that circle up thing they were in the car. You assume when you first see it, you're like, they've been practicing, like their stagecoach style encirclement of the caravan.
Right.
Oh, we're going to do something. I thought, like, oh, the cars are going to move real slow while, like, they're inside it doing something.
Yeah.
No. They're going to park... Like, they parked so close to the building that they couldn't have hoped not to die. They're not the dumbest people in the world.
They are, I think.
It seems.
Everything was touching everything else, like not showing Gregory fall even. It's like the set only goes this far, is exactly this much we're allowed to see. Up, though, you can see the like, windows, and you can see, like, the cars, but, like, slits and shit was, like, disconnected. It was one of, like, the worst things. It was like Z-Nation level blocking of, like, a
seriously
scene,
was. We're like,
which does not work on this show that has no sense of humor or, like, funness or levity at all. This is like, wait, this is, like, the fight? This is, like, we're gonna knock Negan off of his pedestal, and now he's in the shit with us, and this is how it's gonna be, and, like, now we've scattered the factions. Who? The factions of the what? He says, do you think you have the numbers for these fight? For this fight.
There's no numbers, but
there's
in the
no
flashback
numbers.
From the previous episode, you see how many numbers there actually are.
That was the most insulting fucking part of the whole thing, is that
they show you,
is that they remind you, and then they show you this epic battle that seems to take place in, like, 40 square feet and involve 38 people, if that, or total, right, on both sides.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Right? And this show has done so many things with Terminus and the fucking
why did
when they
half
were
of the
fighting
people
the
not even
governor and
come?
stuff. Okay, so that's part 2 of my...
They couldn't fit in that tiny set?
Part 2 of my this shit sucks is what did they do? They they took Daryl, Morgan, Carol, and what's her name? I hate her so much now. They took these characters, some of your most seasoned warriors, some of your crowd favorites, some of like your major players, and they said, we don't have the ability to film on the same days, or if you're doing some other indie movie maybe, we're going to work it out in the script. Why is Carol there? Because the script says Carol's not with them, or some shit like that. It was this awful dog shit bullshit thing where most of the episode they're in this whole other place for no reason, right? This is Negan. This is like, we've already won if we can stop them in the thing, and this is it, and we're going to regret if we don't do the thing.
Where were they even at in that second attack bit? Like, with the guy that threw the grenade or whatever? Like, what was that,
okay.
and why'd they even go there?
So that's a whole nother thing where, like, they eventually show you the zombies. So there's that shot, which we'll get to at, like the climax of like your shitting pants, where you see like Negan's compound and this like tiny building or whatever. But then there's another location, right, where you see zombies pouring in and you see them showing up and all that stuff. But then you're like, what is that? Wait a minute, because there's no establishment of where that is relative to the other stuff.
I thought it was one of the places they already were where they killed a scout. Then I'm like, oh, I guess not.
Right.
Like, what is this? I don't understand why they didn't just... Negan didn't have a gun at all. Why didn't they just run up on him? None of them had guns. It seemed like they were fighting 5 people while heavily armed behind armor with people that had no ability to fight them and a zombie army backing them. Yeah, and somehow they didn't kill everyone.
And somehow they didn't seal the deal. Yeah, I don't know. I hate this episode so much. I literally hate this episode so much. Because he says, we only have to kill one man. And I'm gonna offer you guys to like surrender and stuff.
Where'd Dwight go?
And Negan's because if Dwight was Dwight was standing there on my second viewing because I had the same thought. Where the fuck's Dwight? He was there standing there and like
with the 5.
Yeah.
Was he?
And like Rick goes, okay, so like highlights of the episode.
I didn't remember him being there.
When Eugene goes, Rick, I feel remiss at me, and goes, shut up, motherfucker. I know your name. That's awesome. Yeah. But he goes down. He says like Dwight and Regina and you.
So Dwight was there.
And Gavin and Simon.
Dwight could have just fucking killed him right there.
You were there and you were there. So like
right there, he could have been like, knife, and like killed the whole team.
I was just gonna say, to like
got in the car and drove away.
To like rewrite the episode, right? Like you have Dwight there. You spent all this time with like the notes and like the arrows and all that shit. Dwight's your inside man, right? So you can set something up where like Negan's like 3 people here and 2 people there, and we're gonna parlay. How about you and me, Rick? Like old times. Let's settle this. I'll even leave Lucille behind, and then hands Lucille to Dwight or something, right? You could do such fucking amazing stuff where he just assumes he's got these trained dogs by his side, and like one of his henchmen says, let's just have a timeout, and he goes, shut the fuck up, and you're like, oh shit, right? So you're like, oh wait, maybe there is some dissension in like the ranks, and then just like it's not even like something bad happens, just nothing happens. It was so upsetting.
And then, no, there's many levels of actually. I might hate this episode now that I think about it.
I just left 10 things out. I'm just vomiting. It's
so
horrible.
Here's the other thing: is you have Rick who has a gun, facing Negan with a bat.
Exactly.
He goes, I'm going to count to 10. And then misses the shot. He counts to 3 or 7 or whatever, and then just opens fire. He could have just.
Was it counting up or down? I know he stopped
counting
at
down.
7.
He was counting down.
He stopped at 7. Okay, so like again, I see what the writers are trying to do. You're gonna make me count. Uh-oh, ding 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 ding. Callback. Holy shit. Oh my.
No, and
air horns.
I didn't
oh my
hate
god.
that. I just hated the fact that like, all right, you now with an automatic weapon from like 20 feet away just missed him.
But then freaks out and like, was he trying to not shoot him? And like again, this feels like there's like stuff that was cut out or like editing or like we can't use this footage for some reason, right? It feels like the location burned down and then we had to just salvage an episode because he's shooting and then you just see like Negan's ass going behind some wood or something, right? Like there's no connection for like what the fuck. I fucking went on the internet to see what the running time of this episode was to make sure I didn't get like a version that was like not correct or something like that where they cut out the middle and it's something that it was the same.
I just don't understand a situation where Negan and his posse don't have guns coming out of the door, don't have a plan. He's a man that like is full of plans and cool shit and like knows what he's doing. There's not people on the roof of his building in general as like a lookout
There
system.
were 2 and they shot them.
That's it. But
let's talk about plans, right? His plan was this sniveling coward that has been of no use to me whatsoever is going to like turn part of Rick's forces, perhaps 22%, perhaps 30%. We're not clear. And that's going to turn the tide and, like, win this, like, thing for me, right? We've set up all these things. Eugene's cooking up shit. Oh, you're the idea man. Yeah, the metal head thing. Oh, man. We had the Junkrats flee last time. Where did they go?
Yeah.
Didn't they make a deal with Negan? I forget what the fuck happened on this show. Fuck this show, right? There's all these things going on. You have the ladies over by the coast and all that stuff. Oh, they hate Negan too, right? Maybe there were a few people there that might want to do a thing. We had all these fucking things, and literally just nothing happens.
This is my issue. They shot 2 people on the roof. And it's a roof, presumably a square, a rectangle, maybe other shapes. Maybe it's a triangle. At the very least, you would have one person in each corner of the roof, because maybe they're not going to come to the front door. In most events, your enemies would not come to the front door.
Right.
There should be 2 other guys like, oh shit, they just got shot. Like, fucking army crawling their way to the edge and just, like, kill everyone that he ever loved. Like,
there would be a system. You would have a defense. You would have something, right?
He has, like, 80 dudes.
Everything about Negan. So, like, maybe Negan sucks. Maybe he doesn't have any plans because he just got fucked over by zombie Sasha in the coffin, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe he's just really, 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 really bad. Maybe he's just a like a sweet-talking whatever that we should not be at all scared of, because you just have to show up and not shoot him a few times, and then he just loses his empire. Is that what I'm supposed to take away from this?
No.
I'm so upset. No, it doesn't seem like this is what a man like that should, like, plan for, and this doesn't seem like a good plan that, like, Rick and them should have to, like, do or whatever the fuck, right?
Where are, like, the workers? And, like, he has, like...
There was a whole city.
A settlement of people
They
that
were
live
arguing,
there.
I'm going to call it a Grimulac, right? There's all these people, right? So, like, that's the drama, right? We have to go storm this area. We're leading zombies into it. There's all these innocent people that are just doing their best to survive under, you know, with Negan's boot at their neck. That's the drama, right? Yeah. Oh, help me, fuck you. I'm not, you know, I'm actually like a Negan supporter, it turns out, right? There's all these things. There's a whole season worth of things there. You'd have, like, refugees. Can we trust these people? I don't know what's going on. All these fucking things.
My thought is just the
nothing.
Moment anyone shows up at the door, a random idiot, it's not a controlled group, would start shooting. There should be anybody doing anything, and they had nothing. It's very upsetting when, like, I feel like the seasons of knowing Negan now have, like a built up something.
Yeah, hasn't it been, like, a really long time?
It seems like something should happen.
Because if the premiere was him killing, right? So then we started Negan in season 6 then, right?
Yeah.
Early season 6, we saw him, like, cut a dude's arm off without his face, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's been set up for so long that this is it. I hate this show.
But like now it's just like, oh no, he's just a chump. He's a normal guy, apparently. He's not like the deranged, crazy, planning person that actually does things and gets shit done. He didn't seem as tough. He had a cool speech in the beginning of that, and then it all fell to nothing when, like, he didn't act on it.
Where he says, shit, I was in a meeting, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so like, all that stuff
I thought that could have been something cool. Like, I was in a meeting with, and, like, the Junkrats come out, everyone comes out, yeah.
And it was just with Gregory. Fucking Gregory. Everyone should know that Gregory's fucking useless.
I don't know why Gregory thought people were still on his side. Clearly, they already went to Maggie.
I almost like that about the character, though. That
he can't even tell he's so delusional.
That he's so delusional and like fucked and all that stuff. I told you twice. I told you twice. Like, what are you gonna kill me? What about me, Rick? All that shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I liked Rick being confident again and not being a sniveling bitch. What I didn't understand was it seemed like it's cut into 3 different time periods.
Okay, should we?
So let's just touch on this real quick. And
I'm gonna make a quick. I'm gonna stick a quick pin in something about Rick's leadership.
He's an old man at one point. Not an old man, but he's got a haircut. He's a little older. So presumably this is maybe a year or 2 based on his Judith's like size, something like that.
Oh no, that's right, because that doesn't make any sense with how white his hair is.
Yeah, so like maybe a year or 2. I don't know, give or take. But a lot of stress. The president's hair.
I was gonna say,
in a couple years.
The president ages really fast.
No, and that's the thing.
I age really fast.
So it cuts between there's that period where like things are fine and we know that at least those 3 characters don't die. Spoilers. Or he's like imagining some weird shit because it cuts back to another time period which might be the same one where his eyes are really red and he's crying and shit. And the biggest fucking red herring misdirect thing might be for me that it ends with him giving the speech that he gave before they attacked. And I'm like, is this a dream? Okay. Was he thinking this is the ideal way it's going to end? And if that were true, why would he leave a fucking Reverend behind?
Okay, right. So
if
now,
it's a dream.
so you just made me, you just like gut punched me. Oh my god, maybe this is all intentional. Maybe these events didn't even happen, right? Maybe this is all in Rick's mind. I was so
Like
happy.
he's playing out the best case scenario, but if
He-
that happened,
okay.
it's like when like it was a dream sequence, but you weren't even there when that part happened. How do you remember that? Like type of thing.
No,
Well, like, it can't be.
and why would you have the shit in pants thing if it were that? No,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's cutting. Okay, it's cutting between like future Rick living happily, wearing like a fucking Jedi robe. I thought it was gonna be like. I've seen a Force user like this before, and like another one rides the bus is playing in the background of like a happy village where Carl's there.
Another one rides the bus.
Another one rides the bus.
Isn't another one bites the dust?
No, this is the Weird Al cover version.
Was it?
I paid very close attention upon my second viewing to make sure. Watching 2 times is like the cheat
That's
code.
cheating.
No, because I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound quite right, and it's not quite right, and it's definitely, I swear, it's another one rides the bus.
Do you think it's cheaper to buy a parody of a song than the real song? Or do you still have to pay the original real song price because you're paying? Like,
I don't know. I don't
work?
know if like Al pays the Queen estate or whatever. It is Queen, right? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know who pays who in that scenario, but it's such a strange choice, and kind of so like part of me is like, oh, this is like an anime. This is like a visual like representation of like, because he says like my mercy triumphed over my wrath or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something weird like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he was thinking, but we didn't really see the wrath. We just see like the merciful path maybe going forward. But then I'm like, why would another one rides the bus be playing in like your idyllic utopia world or whatever
Well,
the fuck?
you know,
Is that
got
just
a
how it
thing.
works? I guess that's fine. That kind of undercuts the like serenity of it, but maybe that's the meaning of life. In the other one though, in like the other time period, the way his eyes look, I think he's turning into a zombie.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you got from it? Or no?
I took it as like a crying
But like
I
like
thought
the
it was
irises
gonna
of
cut back.
the eyes have gotten paler, I think.
He was
I
definitely
think he's,
super pink. Like it looked very weird.
Yeah, like around the edge was all raw and stuff, but I think in like the actual like blue part of his eye was very teal and like fading and stuff.
When you looked at that part though, where did that was that its own timeline? Because
Allow
that's
me to
what was
find the thing.
confusing. Because then when it cut to him giving the speech, I'm like, well, it's not during the speech. It doesn't look the same there.
No.
I'm like, or is this just a poorly cut together shot?
So again, 2 times, motherfucker, so good. In like one of those, there's a stained glass window kind of moving in like the wind, and he turns to look at it, and it cuts from there to him in like the utopia world again, or like whatever the fuck. In like another one where he's crying and like raw, it cuts from him doing that to like an almost identical shot of him, with like his head turned to the side, giving that same speech again. I think that might be that cut.
That's what I was so
weird,
jarred by.
where
'Cause I'm like, wait, he's giving
well,
that speech again, or is
yeah.
this cutting back to where it was?
Why is he giving that speech in the fucking first place? This is either so like now I'm like honestly afraid that this is the most beautiful artistic avant-garde episode ever, and I've just missed it and I've fallen for their trap, and I never should have doubted you, whatever your name is. Sir Patrick Gumble, whatever the fucking guy is.
Always doubt.
I don't know his name. No, but then they wouldn't have had shitting pants. They wouldn't have had
That doesn't make
scenes
sense.
of like the
Some
people.
of the thing like it could have gone one direction in what we're talking about, where it's like, oh, it's a fake out, or it's an imagining of what could have happened,
been so good.
or a dream. But then why are there parts that he wouldn't have been there for,
And
if it was that?
And the only way to end that is to have something like bad or whatever happen, right? And
Sure.
then like your audience spends a week being like, holy shit, Michonne's like mortally wounded, or like, holy shit, there was no one at like Negan's place because they marched the army over to like Rick's place. Oh my god.
Well,
they
why
knew they'd be undefended. Like just something in there, and then it turns out that Rick's like, wait, no, this is a bad plan. I just have a feeling, and then he goes and like does something else, right, or whatever. But there's no room for that here. I think
They had to have been expecting a counterattack or an attack of some sort, because why would they leave people at the base?
Yeah, that was
anyway?
their idea. Yeah, with Michonne behind.
It
and
has
stuff.
to be.
And she says like, I'm gonna help defend this.
That's just her being cheeky.
I'm gonna help you or whatever. But she's still gonna like help defend. Is like the idea.
It's a really weird thing where like you wouldn't need to defend it if no one was there. Just saying.
Territory or something like that. No, like
there's 3 bases. You can't. There's not enough people to defend all of them.
And this And this was the full court press, right? You needed to have the Tiger, you needed to have Daryl, and like everyone literally. I know they show up from the thing we said later, but that doesn't even seem like the same place. I hate this episode so much. You needed to have everyone there. You needed to have all of your warriors, right? And you should have had, I know, Fat Tony, whatever the fuck. I know Fat Greg. I don't know.
Dead guy.
The dead guy's fat. The fat guy's dead, and now skinny whatever is just normal Mike or whatever. Like I know some of the people that we've seen before are like dead and gone, but some of those actors and extras and people could have been there. They could have squared off in some way. You could have had some interesting interactions. You could have had some weird shit with Eugene being like, "Oh, you gotta understand," or whatever, and then maybe they fucking kill him. Like do something interesting there, or whatever the fuck, right?
And something interesting will happen. We're only on episode 1. You wanted to address his leadership?
Oh, well, because speaking of him giving that same speech again, I fucking hate these speeches. And, like...
I didn't dislike the speech.
The speech is fine, theoretically speaking, but, like, Rick is a man that just, like, more and more, so, like, the show is presenting like, well, Maggie's like the wise, like, statesman leader, and Rick's like the wise, like, general of the army. And Sun Tzu says, like, the sovereign must take over once the general's job is done. He grabs the back of her neck and says, after this is over, I'm going to be following you, and all that stuff. And you're like, oh, he's, like, passing the torch. It's, like, symbolic, like, wartime is ending, and now you're the leader for peace or whatever. But honestly, the only one who's been a worse leader than Maggie has been Rick. Like, Like, no offense to these people, but, like, getting lucky, almost dying, making the wrong decision, assuming something's gonna happen, it doesn't, but then you're fine. Like, all these things are constantly happening. Is that leadership? Is that how this works? So when I hear these speeches, I just be like, I've heard this before. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not a democracy.
Yeah. No, I came into this defending this episode, but I leave it going, this episode wasn't good.
I'm sorry if I turned you around on this.
No, it was mainly just actually thinking about it.
What were your defenses going to, like, be, though? Did we leave anything out that we have to touch on?
There was nothing that I was like, oh, I like this part. It was, I think mainly, which is always a poor defense, is saying, it's been worse, which is not a really strong defense when saying something was good.
No, if I had to rank this, it would not be on the bottom of, like, the show's episodes.
If this is the worst episode of the season, we're in for a treat, and that's pretty good.
Okay.
I don't think that'll happen because we usually get a drag in the middle, but who knows?
Just a few notes.
Sure.
Carl meets a mysterious traveler, and the dude's got like a gabby, way about him, and the way the camera treats him, I think he's like a new character.
He'll certainly be a new character. Yeah.
He leaves him some canned peaches or whatever the fuck.
Corn, I thought.
I didn't read the cans. I'm just saying.
It was yellow and green.
Cans.
I just
could be papayas. I don't know. But so they peppered that in, right?
Sure.
A little bit of that too, with like the father and the son and their different approaches, where the son is now kind of like, for some reason, like give him a chance when like he's walking around with a fucking hole in his head.
Is it weird that he still wears like the wrap?
The bandages? Yes, it's weird.
Should he not have already, like, they live in a place that has leather work and this and that. He could have an eye patch.
I was just going to say, like, because we don't have money to show a gaping hole in his head, but yeah, he could just do something tasteful with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that because in, like, the comic book panels it was still that, because it was, like, timeline was different there or something?
I don't know.
I don't know why they're so...
It feels weird, where I'm like, are they changing those? Does he wear the same one forever? How's that work?
I don't know how long it's been on the show. I don't know... why they're so in love with that imagery of these
honestly,
dolls,
for all I know,
face.
it might, like, if you think about a normal cut on your arm, it could last a little while. If you had a big hole bored through your head, it would probably take a while to heal. I just wonder.
I don't know why. I don't know how long the timeline is supposed to be, or like if that's reasonable or not. But I do think it's goofy, regardless.
But it was healed because Negan looked at it and it wasn't like bloody. It was just like a socket.
Right. So do something. I don't know. I hate this show. Whatever.
Yeah.
But again, like I read that the way that I read Daryl not and like Carol not being with the group, where it's like there's some exterior reason for this. Someone on like the set team just loves the gauze and wants that image.
Did you think it was funny when I always forget the one girl's name, but her and Morgan drive off, and like Daryl's got like his bike, and Carol's like, "Oh, run this way." In my head, I was like, I just picture her going like, "Can I get a ride?"
That's hilarious. No, I didn't even notice that. I don't fucking know. Okay, Daryl being like, and stuff was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not cool enough to justify the whole thing. Whatever.
It seemed like kind of a waste, though. Like, you could have used matches. Speaking of a waste, they've established that bullets are finite. They don't have unlimited. I think
you're talking about the same thing I'm talking about.
So, like, to make noise, they fired 1,000 shots into the air. like the first time they got there. Then they shot all the glass out for no reason. All in all, they would have been like changing fucking clips repeatedly. They fired so many bullets. One guy could have fired once, and it would have made noise that would have attracted zombies, right? Like, I don't know if everyone firing at the same time is any louder. Like,
I really hope that they were not just shooting at empty windows to make noise. We were supposed to think that Negan's men were inside of those windows, right? Or could that just be nothing?
I did not expect that at all. I never thought that whatsoever because of the nature of how those long, tall warehouses are. They're usually just really tall buildings. I don't even think those are floors.
Okay, so they were just shooting for no reason?
I think they were just shooting.
That's so much worse. I was like, wow, this makes no sense. You're just shooting and we don't have any establishment of why you're shooting. They were just wasting all those bullets?
If there were people in the windows, even if it couldn't show them, you would have seen some CG'd like muzzle flashes from the windows.
Yeah, I thought that like you said later, because Gregory and Gabriel are like down there getting shot at, that there's something happening.
They don't show
those
from
windows.
where it happens, though.
I know. I really hope that they don't want us to think that the whole group just shot the windows a lot and then said, we won, and fucking like left or whatever, right?
Well, there's no glass repair in the apocalypse.
No, glass is finite
They
research.
did kind of win.
You've permanently destroyed that glass.
Kind of won.
Right? Well, no, they have that big furnace that they threw the doctor into. They can probably blow more glass.
That's not how it works.
More glass. No, you just take glass and you melt it, and then you have glass again.
Yeah, but to fit it to size in the apocalypse, damn near impossible.
Just gonna make it thin, blow on it a little bit.
No.
I like it.
You got anything left to talk about in this episode?
Well, speaking of the ending, Gabe and the shitting pants.
Yeah,
so just to,
did it make you angry that he didn't just like get scared and shoot Negan to death?
Does it make me angry? Yes.
Because, like, he's in there, and like, I hate how it goes from certain things where the zombies are, like, fucking, like, gotcha, no chance, and then this is like, and they're not even reaching for him. He's just walking through them till he gets to that door.
Pushes one away a little bit.
He walks in, after being chased by, like, 1,000 zombies, and then hears a noise and doesn't immediately turn and shoot. Like, none of your friends are there.
Yep.
At the best case, it could have been Eugene, who's also not your friend.
At this point, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, and like, why would you think it's like not a zombie? And maybe he says shitting pants before or whatever, but how does he not know it's Negan? He has a very distinct voice and way of talking. Yeah. And if he does, so like, again, like, to be charitable towards this scene, I'm hoping that the reason he needs to, be worried about shitting his pants is not because Negan is there.
Yes. Well, right? That's your best case scenario, is that he's talking about the situation with the zombies. But your worst case, the reason I would have shot him, is he's about to cut me.
Well, no. I mean, like, I'm hoping that in the next episode, something's going on besides just Negan being in this outhousey trailer thing with Gabe, and like the reason like he would shit his pants is not just because, hey, I'm in here, right? I want there to be more going on.
Well, I think the reason is that they're surrounded by zombies.
Well, Gabe knows that because he just rushed in and like was chased by all the zombies.
But he doesn't necessarily know there's no way out of that building. He's only seen it from the one side.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't want you're gonna shit your pants because now I'm here and we're gonna die. I want there to be something like there's a staircase that goes down and there's a plan and like like Rick didn't do shit, or really I routed my troops here, or this is just one of my outposts and there's a much bigger place. I'm just guessing dumb things. There has to be some other reason why he would shit his pants besides the fact that he stumbled upon Negan, right?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with Negan.
Why would
I think
you
it's
open
solely the zombies. I hope you got your shitting pants on, because we're fucked, is like the next line.
Okay, because if that's it, then I'm super disappointed. That's like the worst case scenario for me.
That's the best case scenario for me.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's super bad. If there's no other reason there, because like you're saying, to like announce yourself, to physically reveal yourself to a man with a gun that, like, didn't they have a thing where he was kidnapped by, like, those people for a while? Gabe took the supplies and tried to go, and something happened, right?
Yeah, something happened.
So, like, they have a history. It's obviously bad. Like, and I'm sure Negan has a lot of responsibilities, but I feel like Rick's group has taken up a lot of his time recently, and he should sort of know all the people, and he should know that this is not someone who will not shoot him, right, if given the chance. So this is the only way.
Like if I just went back to help somebody and they went to take my car, they're dead. I would shoot them in the back. They're not taking my car. I have to get out of there.
Sure.
But he didn't do that. He pretty much let himself die by not doing that. Just by luck of it being scripted, he lived.
Yeah.
So I would not assume he's capable of pulling a trigger.
Well, I don't know if Negan saw any of that because he was holed up in this.
No,
in this place
I
or
just
whatever
meant
the
he
fuck.
might assume that just because he's a father that he can't do it.
That he's a man of God.
Yeah.
I know, and there's a lot of other stuff there. I'm just saying, I really, 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 really hope that that line has some sort of other meaning or double meaning for something. Because either way, right, what is this? This is that thing that we called during our video for the, like, teaser, right? We were talking about this?
Sure.
Where it's like, well, they can't ever kill Negan, so what are they going to do? And it's like, well, maybe he gets injured, or there's, like, a worse person or something, or, like, and then I think both of us together arrive at a scenario where, like, perhaps Negan gets separated with one or two members of the group. I mentioned Dude Ranch, when the one dude hurts his
Can't
legs,
see him
and one
can't
dude
walk.
can't see his
Yeah.
eyes or whatever, and they bond over it, right? So I pictured, like, him and Rick out there, and one is like shoulder is fucked up and one his leg is fucked up or something like that, and they have to help each other survive. And then he like learns his backstory, and we go back to a flashback, and there was a cheese maker, and there was a thing, and he was abused.
No, but honestly,
and then you slowly
Gabriel
make
is
him a
kind of the
good guy or
perfect
whatever.
person to
Yeah.
have this because he will hear out everything he has to say.
Oh God! And Negan will be like, well, you can help me potentially, so I'm not going to kill you or whatever. Then we're going to get all. But I hate that was so easy to call. If that's what it is, if that's all it is,
That's all it
I'm
is.
so upset. I'm so upset. Stuff.
I'm on record. I definitely think that's all it is.
Okay, so now they have to survive.
And they will.
Together. Of course.
They'll
because-
like cut a hole in the ceiling, get out the top, or like the thousands of people he has will come back and kill all the zombies.
they really need to in order for me to not hate this show, they have to do something in next episode, right? Because this episode didn't even make sense. We
Oh, yeah,
we
it's
covered
odd.
that because it ends with the same speech that was in the middle, or it's a new speech, and he's talking about the next day from that day, which makes no
No,
sense.
it's the same speech. I'm fairly
It has to
positive.
just be like a chopped up time thing, but this is not like doing flashbacks. Like
No, it's weird.
1 or 2 seasons ago, they thought that we were so dumb that all the flashbacks had to be in black and white, and now they're just chopping up this episode, and they're showing, like, Rick from the future, and, like, dying Rick, and all this weird stuff happening,
Yeah.
because it's artsy or whatever. This is the artsy stuff that I don't like, when it's just horseshit.
So what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments below. Did you think this was weird? What was the worst part? Are you still in this show? Have you lost your vesting here? You no longer want to participate? We're going to stick it out to the rest of the season, see where it goes. Hopefully,
No.
picking it up.
We're gonna watch every episode, and
Most
like
assuredly.
my one main prediction, the one highlight, is I want Daryl on his motorcycle to jump over a large tank full of zombies, and just be like, "We did
All right,
it."
guys, dump down a fire, and we'll see you next time.